Welcome to this explainer. Okay, let's jump right into the ultimate scientific thought experiment. If humanity were to just suddenly vanish tomorrow, what exactly happens to the massive infrastructure, the domesticated animals, and the heavily altered atmosphere we leave behind? So, if every single one of us vanished tomorrow, how long would it actually take for the Earth to completely erase us? To figure that out, we're going to take a chronological journey together. We'll start just 48 hours after our sudden disappearance, and then we're going to time travel a staggering 10 million years into the deep future. We'll be looking at some seriously fascinating and sometimes pretty tragic data, pulling from the BBC Science-focused timeline all the way to the deep-time atmospheric models from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. Section 1. The immediate aftermath. The first 7 days. The collapse of our systems? It starts incredibly fast, and that's entirely driven by the immediate failure of our power grids. You see, without constant, active human intervention and pumping, the New York City subways will flood with water and become completely impassable in just 2 days. By day 7, the emergency generators that power the coolant pumps at our nuclear facilities run out of fuel. That triggers around 450 nuclear reactors worldwide to begin melting down. Our modern world requires constant supervision, and without us, stability just evaporates in a matter of hours. Section 2. The fate of livestock. A tragic middle chapter. Moving into the first year, we have to look at the pretty tragic reality for the animals we've genetically engineered and basically trapped in locked pastures. And this really highlights a stark divide. Highly domesticated wool sheep, for example, will tragically perish. We bred them to continuously grow wool, right? So, without annual shearing, they suffer from totally overgrown fleeces, wool blindness, and lethal infections. But on the flip side, you've got pigs. Clever, highly resourceful pigs will just use their natural rooting abilities to dig under fences, escape captivity, and easily thrive in the wild as feral populations. It's a very similar story for hyper-domesticated dairy cows. Since they've been selectively bred to produce up to 10 gallons of milk a single day, they would quickly succumb to lethal infections without a human there to milk them. For millions of these animals, the ultimate enemy isn't even their genetics, it's our fences. Meanwhile, more natural breeds like beef cattle or chickens, well, they actually have a real shot at survival, as long as they can break free. Section 3. Infrastructure collapse. Earth reclaims the cities. Now, what's really fascinating here is how just the simple elements of temperature and time slowly, completely tear down our most monumental concrete achievements. By year 1, we actually see an extinction event. But it's one we definitely won't miss. Human head and body lice entirely vanish. Then, by year 3, unheated pipes burst, absolutely flooding colder cities. By year 20, our highly engineered crops are totally outcompeted by wild weeds. And on a massive global scale, the Panama Canal actually silts up, physically rejoining North and South America. Fast forward to 300 years post-humanity, and major infrastructure completely fails. We're talking bridges falling down, dams silting up, and entirely washing away cities in the resulting overflow. Those sprawling, manicured suburbs we built, they transform right back into dense, wild forests. And without us constantly destroying habitats, endangered species rebound heavily, moving right back into the concrete jungles we used to call home. Section 4. Healing the atmosphere. The long carbon shadow. All right, so here is the absolute crucial takeaway. While our physical buildings fall apart incredibly fast on a geological scale, scrubbing our carbon footprint from the atmosphere, that is an excruciatingly slow process. Data from the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change points to a terrifyingly long recovery timescale. Because the ocean's buffer capacity naturally decreases over time, a stubborn 15 to 40% of our CO2 emissions will linger in the atmosphere for far, far longer than 1,000 years. The Earth's natural carbon removal actually builds through 3 distinct scientific phases. Phase 1 takes decades to centuries. It's a relatively quick uptake by land photosynthesis and the ocean's buffer, which unfortunately significantly increases ocean acidification. Phase 2 takes millennia. That's when ocean pH is slowly restored by chemical reactions happening in seafloor sediments. And finally, Phase 3 kicks in. It takes hundreds of thousands of years for a process called silicate weathering, where CO2 chemically reacts with igneous rocks to pull the absolute last remaining carbon out of the sky. 100,000 years. Yeah, you heard that right. It takes roughly 100,000 years for atmospheric carbon dioxide to finally drop back down to pre-industrial levels. During this massive stretch of deep time, microbes will also finally evolve to biodegrade all our leftover plastics, and the plutonium left over from our bombs will finally become safe to handle. Section 5. our deep time legacy, 10 million years later. So let's jump an astonishing 10 million years into the future. The Earth has completely reset. It's thriving with totally unrecognizable, brand new forms of life. Almost everything we ever built, our skyscrapers, highways, our smartphones, it's all been crushed into a single, incredibly thin geological layer in the Earth's crust, save for a few extremely stubborn remnants. Thanks to sheer material durability, bronze sculptures and the massive carved granite faces of Mount Rushmore will actually survive, silently watching over this strange new Earth. I want to leave you with this final, provocative thought for today's explainer. When you consider the rapid death of our engineered livestock, the multi-millennial shadow of our carbon emissions, and the stubborn persistence of our monuments, is our temporary existence defined more by the living nature we destroyed or the cold stone we carved to remember ourselves by? It's a pretty profound reminder of both our immense power and our ultimate impermanence.